Dokkan Battle is a game I enjoy a lot, but as others have said time and time again, if it weren't for the Dragon Ball IP, I probably wouldn't give this game the time of day. Today, we're going to look at completely outdated systems that the game currently uses and try to suggest ways to modernize them. Disclaimer: I am not a game developer, just a fan. I played multiple gacha, all from a free-to-play or extremely low-spending corner, so I know the pain the absolute majority of gacha players feel when they don't hit. The hidden potential system is completely redundant. It's an inconsistent, boring illusion of choice. In the best case scenario, a character might have two skills they want to invest in. Primarily though, you're throwing away money by not just going dodge 90% of the time. Hey, put the dislike down. I'm not the truth. I'm not trying to tell you that you're wrong for playing the game the way you want to play it, but objectively, the offensive options don't do enough to satisfy spending possibly thousands of dragon stones pulling on banners. This is getting worse and worse as the years progress. We're moving towards the 10th anniversary where characters, and by the way, this is only a good thing, are being made so much better. The issue is that their hidden potential systems are becoming completely linear. If all of them have crit, if all of them have additional, then guess what? The most valuable thing is for them to just not get hit. This really wouldn't be as big of a problem if it wasn't the only option 90% of the time. I mean, no one wants to hear that the fix is to make the characters worse, so that's not the fix. So what do we do? What do we do with characters that are just getting better and better, easy A's that are all just amazing, and therefore characters that you probably have dupes for? What do? My answer, and it's always going to be my answer, this game kind of needs a gear system. Things like a 50% chance to launch an additional that has a chance to be a super on a 2-piece, and the 4-piece would be, I mean, of course, like a guaranteed additional super, but it takes the slots that you have, right? Things like defensive sets that give you both stats and the ability to guard if you're wearing all 4 pieces. Things like dodge sets that give you higher and higher increments of flat dodge based on how many pieces you're wearing. Maybe at 4 pieces, you get the 50% chance to dodge. I'm not a game developer. I'm not someone who sits around crunching numbers and creating easy A concepts like some people on Twitter are. I'm just putting out ideas that I think would not only improve the sort of listlessness the game's character customization systems exist in, but also, I mean, what's wrong really with giving characters longevity through gear? If you're a whale, this might not really matter to you, but if you're free to play and the characters you have are only the ones that you have, having gear you can put on a character to increase its validity in these harder events is kind of cool, you know? It means that you don't have to wait for an easy A to make your favorite moment from Dragon Ball playable on teams. Imagine that during the worldwide download celebration, instead of this sync that's taken forever to get here, they announced like you could put gear on Vegito Blue that gave him stacking defense in base form on their 12 key. So instead of having this useless character that can't exist out of slot 1 in the Vegito Blue duo, you'd have the ability to equip like 4 pieces of whatever the fuck, and it just flat adds raised defense to the 12 key. I didn't really create a system around this. I didn't think too hard on what the sets would and wouldn't do, or how much the stats would or would not provide. Just a, quick off the cuff rambling on things that really aren't present in Dokkan that like every single modern gacha basically forms itself around. And I think these are the steps that Dokkan needs to start taking to modernize. Now that they kind of have the fight sauce down. All of the fights in 2024 have been really cool. People were literally dooming about the Kid Buu fight releasing being so hard. Then they were doing about the Vegeta fight releasing recently on JP and being so hard and just being like power creep. But it turns out if you make good characters, you can release whatever fucking fight you want to. Now that they know how to do this, they should start looking towards avenues to like add, I don't know, some longevity to these characters rather than just being like washed out. Alright, hot topic. As of recording this, July 13th, there is nothing happening on Global Dokkan or JP Dokkan, which is currently going through Tanabata while we go through the 9th anniversary. You have 2 of the single biggest celebrations all year, one of them being considered the best celebration of all time in the 9th anniversary, and there's basically no reason to log on to the game after doing your initial runs of content and summoning, because we're like missing the easy A's that I think are delayed. I'm pretty sure that easy A's are delayed right now on Global, and there's just these huge gaps. As of a few years ago, I believe, Dokkan had made like $3 billion. I know they owe an amount of that money back to licensing and all, but it and Legends make up 40% of the company's like profit. So how is it that when I log onto Honkai Star Rail or Zenless Zone Zero, there are these like really intricate mini games and fights and weeklies and dailies that are separate completely from the actual dailies that you do. I guess people don't realize this, even though, you know, it's a gacha, you just put it in your pocket and you're done with it. There's nothing really to grind long term in Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle other than links, and that's not interesting because links are static. They're also completely to the whim of RNG, so you're doing it for however long or short the game dictates. With a game like Honkai Star Rail, there's always progression to be made in gearing and traces and relics. Until I started trying that game out for the first time recently, I didn't notice how much I was missing the Epic 7 style gear grind, because Dokkan just has these completely static dead periods that I feel like a lot of other gacha have figured out. On top of that, the system allows free-to-play and easy-to-pull characters some use that Dokkan just doesn't have. You can't really just go into any event with any character and say, I love this character, I want to see the Super Saiyan versus Cooler movie duo fight Kid Buu. Instead, Dokkan's left to the whim of releases, the whim of EZAs, the whim of, I mean, God forbid they release a good free-to-play character that's useful. And then, all that in mind, it's left to the whim of content releases, the whim of boss battle releases, feeling those like that draining sensation when you open Dokkan and check the news and the thing that's coming out is like missions for the legendary Frieza event instead of something palpable, something interesting. People need to sort of reckon with the fact that Dragon Ball Legends PvE sucks dick, but it's a PvP game. The PvE only serves to keep you from the PvP so that you have something to keep you on the app. Something like Epic 7, for instance, though, that does PvP and PvE better than both Dragon Ball Legends and Dokkan Battle, is just showing you that these games don't have to be linear, sort of low-effort experiences. If we're being our most honest selves, does it really matter that Chain Battle was removed? World Tournament is still here, and I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't really matter how much you know about Chain Battle. It doesn't make it that much more interesting than something you set and forget. Chain Battle is Peton Battle is World Tournament. You know, not literally my dolls, but you get what I'm saying. The 10th anniversary is building to be something truly great, and I really can't describe how excited I am to just play the game and be excited at the same time as the JP version. But I will say, from trying out Honkai Star Rail, from trying out Zenless Zone Zero, from just dipping my toe into other gacha while I wait for Dokkan to do something lately, it is so much clearer how much effort is put into something like Honkai Star Rail's overall package. Even Dragon Ball Legends package, seeing the Legends Fest animations and like them getting driver stunts and all this shit is just like super high quality, whereas Dokkan seems to just do the bare minimum. I've loved this idea before, but replace World Tournament with a mode where people set teams of characters and just give them a flat value of some kind. I don't know. It could be as simple as they get a flat stat that is determined at the start by World Tournament. It's just this character based on phase gets this much HP, this much attack, etc. The effects of their attacks reflect what their actual card attack is. So if Broly has an AoE, he just does an AoE, boom. Someone sets AoE Broly on defense, boom, he gets an AoE against you. What that does is give a type of, quote unquote PvP, but it also feels more like a fucking World Tournament. Setting these defenses, getting to check in. Did my team beat somebody? Did like the AI beat somebody? It becomes this like create your own movie boss rush in this way. The perfect fix for World Tournament being fucking boring and Chain Battle being fucking boring. Maybe you can even save things like additionals. It'll register that this person has like a 20 additional build, and because of that, there's a 40% chance it does supers twice in a turn, or has dodge, so there's a 20% chance that it just dodges attacks. The systems that they have in place are completely outdated. They feel like old gacha. They feel like gacha before gacha was really considered a valuable gaming asset. Alright, anywho, if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, leave a comment. How would you fix Dokkan? What type of content would you introduce to Dokkan to give it longevity? We're going into the 10th year, which is a big year no matter what. I'm excited. I'm super excited. I hope everyone's enjoying the 9th anniversary on Global. I hope you're enjoying Tanabata if that's what you're doing on JP. And I just want Dokkan to be better, man. And not because I think it's bad, but just because I think that there's still a lot of room, and whether the game is spaghetti code or whatever the fuck, there's something here. This goes along with my Sparking 0 point. Everyone's freaking out about split screen, but I'm over here wondering like, hey, how are you gonna say that you might introduce a ranked mode, but you haven't told us if there's like rollback netcode? Is the netcode just gonna be shit? Like, it's stuff we want to be better. We want to see these companies treat Dragon Ball with the respect they deserve, rather than Toei not promoting Daima and leaving us to wonder what the hell is going on. Anyway, let me get out of here. I ain't gonna waste y'all time. Subscribe, join the club. Loners. Gang gang. Peace.